to you, Prophetess. Good evening to every single one of you, elders, ministers, family members, those who are listening and watching via YouTube. Good evening to you all. Not one of my favorite topics, I can tell you. I will never look at a sink of dirty dishes the same way again. I can tell you that. But it is what it is, and it has to be discussed. So we do what we have to do. But let's continue. Let's continue on the next part of our studies for tonight. And yesterday, we were talking about sexual harassment. You all remember that? And we were looking at what was sexual harassment. And I gave you some scenarios and asked you if these things would constitute sexual harassment. And we saw that sexual harassment includes actual or attempted rape or sexual assault, unwanted deliberate touching, leaning over, you're cornering a person, you're pinching them, you're touching their hair, sending unwanted emails and texts and telephone calls, sending sexual material, pornographic material. All these things constitute sexual harassment. And it's not just the workplace, we're talking about life, even in church. If you do that, that is considered sexual harassment. And do you know sexual harassment is something you can get charged for? So you're also breaking the law. If you're making sexual jokes or, in little innuendos or talking about somebody and asking them about their sex life, all of that is sexual harassment. So my question to you as we begin this evening, are there any examples of sexual harassment in the Bible? Do you know of any examples of sexual harassment in the scriptures? Anybody at all? Yes, no, maybe?
Dr. Richard, we have some comments in the chat.
Uh-huh.
Well, one comment says King David.
King David. Sexual harassment, King David. Okay. All right.
Okay, we have Prophetess. Her hand is up.
Prophetess.
Dr. Richards, the son of King David and his sister. Could that fall?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, let's read about that. 2 Samuel chapter 13. 2 Samuel chapter 13. Let's read about that quickly, about this sexual harassment. Joshua, you have that, or Prophetess? 2 Samuel chapter 13.
I'll read it, Dr. Richard. So it says, after this, Absalom, the son of David, had a lovely sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her. Amnon was so distressed over his sister Tamar that he became sick, for she was a virgin. And it was improper for Amnon to do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother. Now Jonadab was a very crafty man, and he said to him, "Why are you, the king's son, becoming thinner day after day? Will you not tell me?" Amnon said to him, "I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister." So Jonadab said to him, "Lie down on your bed and pretend to be ill. And when your father comes to see you, say to him, 'Please let my sister Tamar come and give me food, and prepare the food in my sight, that I may see it and eat it from her hand.'" Then Amnon laid down and pretended to be ill. And when the king came to see him, Amnon said to the king, "Please let Tamar, my sister, come and make a couple of cakes for me in my sight, that I may eat from her hand." And David sent home to Tamar, saying, "Now go to your brother Amnon's house and prepare food for him." So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was lying down. Then she took flour and kneaded it, made cakes in his sight, and baked the cakes. And she took the pan and placed them out before him, but he refused to eat. Then Amnon said, "Have everyone go out from me." And they all went out from him. Then Amnon said to Tamar, "Bring the food into the bedroom, that I may eat from your hand." And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them to Amnon her brother in the bedroom. Now when she had brought them for him to eat, he took hold of her and said to her, "Come, lie with me, my sister." But she answered him, "No, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing should be done in Israel. Do not do this disgraceful thing. And I, where could I take my shame? And as for you, you would be like one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore, please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you." However, he would not heed her voice, and being stronger than she, he forced her and lay with her. Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred with which he had hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, "Arise, be gone." So she said to him, "No, indeed, this evil of sending me away is worse than the other thing that you did to me." But he would not listen to her. Then he called his servant who attended him and said, "Here, put this woman out away from me," and bolt the door behind her.
So this is a situation. Now you've heard this story many times. You've heard this story many times, and every time you hear a story, as we keep telling you, listen with new ears, see it with new eyes. And so, within the context of what we're discussing, this is a situation of sexual harassment. Now, remember, sexual harassment includes rape. And this is a situation of rape. And rape is when you force someone to have sexual intercourse with you, against their will. And this was clearly the situation. And this brother and sister situation, this wasn't strangers or people who just knew one another, brother and sister. And how many times that would have happened? And people don't know about it. But this is a case in the scripture. And you see, the Bible doesn't hide things. The Bible tells you what happened. It doesn't mean that's the way it is supposed to happen, but it tells you. So we have to understand that the scriptures are clear as to, the things that would have happened and why they happened. And in this case, Amnon, the son of David, raped his sister. And so that was one case of sexual harassment. Let's quickly go to another one, and it's in Genesis chapter 34. I don't know if you have that, Joshua. Genesis chapter 34.
Yeah, sorry. Just trying to. Dr. Richards, you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay. So Genesis chapter 34 says, "Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and violated her. His soul was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the young woman and spoke kindly to the young woman. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, 'Get me this young woman as a wife.' And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob held his peace. And then Hamor, the father of Shechem, Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved and very angry. Disgraceful thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, a thing which ought not to be done. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him as a wife, and make marriages with us. Give your daughters to us, and take our daughters to yourselves. So you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade in it, and acquire possessions for yourselves in it. Then Shechem said to her father and her brothers, let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I will give. Ask me ever so much dowry and gift, and I will give according to what you say to me. But give me the young woman as a wife. But the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father, and spoke deceitfully, because he had defiled the Dinah their sister. And they said to them, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. But on this condition we will consent to you. If you will become as we are, if every male of you is circumcised, then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if you do not heed us and become circumcised, then we will take our daughters and be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. So the young man did not delay to do the thing, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. He was more honorable than all the household of his father. And Hamor and Shechem his son came to the gate of their city, and spoke with the men of their city, saying, these men are at peace with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land and trade in it. For indeed the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us as wives, and let's give them our daughters. Only on this condition will the men consent to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Will not their livestock, their property, and every animal of theirs be ours? Only let us consent to them, and they will dwell with us. And all who went out of the gate of his city heeded Hamor and Shechem his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city. Now it came to pass on the third day, when they were in pain, that the two sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword, and came boldly upon the city, and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house, and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because his sister had been defiled. They took their sheep, their oxen, and their donkeys, and what was in the city, and what was in the field, and all their wealth, all their little ones, and their wives they took captive, and they plundered even all that was in the houses.
Nice. Thank you. All right, so this is another case of sexual harassment and to the extreme of rape. Now, the difference between can you tell the difference between the two situations? Anybody?
One is consented. One is not.
Anybody could tell the difference between, I mean, there may be several differences, but there's one, I think, glaring one that I want to see if you would have noticed. The difference between the one that was read before and this one. Anybody?
We have one comment, Dr. Richards, that says incest in the first scenario.
Incest, okay, that's one. In those days, it would not have been considered incest. But yeah, there's another one that's interesting, that I have found interesting, another difference.
Me too.
Anybody at all? No? Okay, but let me tell you what it is then, if there's nobody.
Dr. Richard, we have one comment that says consent, and we have Prophetess, her hand is up again.
Okay, Prophetess.
I think in the second scenario, Dr. Richards, there was some sort of sorrow, repentance, if I can put it that way, after what had taken place, and they're saying, okay, look, I did this, and they wanted to marry her in the end. The first one was more like lust. And so when the chill of the chase, and when he got what he wanted, it was disgusting to him. But the other one seemed to have been in love and wanted to take her out of that shame by wanting to get married. I'm just guessing as well.
Yeah, no, but that is the difference. That is the difference. In the first case, when he raped her, after that, he had nothing but hatred for her. In this case, he did rape her, but he still loved her. And not only loved her, he wanted to marry her. In the first case, she was telling her brother, no, let's get married. In other words, ask the king for me, and he will give me to you. And that's the way to do it. That's what she was telling him. In the second scenario, yes, there was rape. There was no consent. He violated her. But even after that, he was still willing to get married to her. He still wanted to get married to her. So much so that, he went and he asked for her hand in marriage. But you see what happened, and you see what happened with Diana's brothers. They didn't like that at all. And they sought revenge. And this is what happens a lot of times. These are some of the consequences of sexual harassment, of rape, in that you can end up in a place you're not supposed to end up. We didn't go, to the full story in the first place, the first case with Tamar and Amnon. But Absalom ended up, if you know the story, killing his brother for what he did to his sister. And a lot of times we do things without thinking of the consequences. A lot of marriages have been broken up because you want to flirt with the lady. You want to say all these nice things. You want to, and then sometimes it leads to other things, and that's the end of, the end result is that your marriage goes on the rocks. And we've got to be careful, even as believers. Even as believers, when we start doing these things that the world does, that the world says is okay. Even in looking at this, and I did some prep in my preparation, I'm looking at it, and there are a lot of people in the secular world, people who are not believers, they welcome flirting, and they welcome, even, well, they think sex before marriage is not a problem. Many people would have said that. And it's amazing. And we've got to be careful. Our instructions come from the word, not the world. It doesn't come from the World Wide Web. It doesn't come from Chrome or Google. It doesn't come from, that's not, information comes from there. We can use that information. But our instructions, how we are supposed to live, comes from the word. And we have to remember that. So your co-workers could be talking about all sorts of things, and their conquests and their adventures and all of that. Don't be drawn away by these things. Don't feel that, you're not a man because you can't talk like them. So I just want us to be careful. Let's look at one more. I don't know if we should read the entire thing. In fact, we know the story. We don't need to read it. It's a story of Joseph, and I think this is one of the most obvious one in terms of a reversal, because in the other two cases was the man going after the woman, but there are cases where the woman goes after the man as well. Remember what happened to Joseph with Potiphar's wife? She wanted him to have sex with her or to go to bed with her. That's what she wanted, and she plotted for that to happen. She sent everybody out of the house. She kept hinting to him, kept hinting, and then one day she set up the scenario to set him up. But because of his integrity, because of his love for the Lord, because he knew what was right and what was wrong, and he determined, not only did he know, but he determined that he would not do the wrong thing, he would do the right thing. Because it would have been easy, I'm sure she could have covered it up, and he knew that. I'm sure nobody would have known. Maybe she did that before with other people and nobody found out. but because of his integrity, and we have to hold fast to our integrity at all times. Because of his integrity, he refused, and his refusal caused him to end up in prison. But we know that because God was with him, he still obtained favor. Sometimes we are worried, we are concerned. The boss says, if you don't do this, you're not going to get promotion or you're going to lose your job. And we're worried about that. And we give in, and I'm just speaking in general now. People give in, even believers, they give in because they think, if I don't have this job, what will happen to my family? What will happen to me? And we keep thinking that. And when we do that, it says that we don't trust the God that we say we serve. God is able to deliver us from all circumstances, whether it's fire or lions or situations where people are trying to get you to do the wrong thing. God is a deliverer. He's able. He is able. So I want to answer this before we go on. Have any one of you been in a situation of sexual harassment before, whether it's in a workplace or in a neighborhood or even in church? Anybody, have you ever been in a situation like that where you felt that you were being sexually harassed? Let's just talk a bit. Don't be afraid, don't be ashamed, please, we're talking here as family. Have you ever been in a situation like that? Joshua?
We have some comments in the chat, Dr. Richards. So far, all the comments say yes. One person says yes on the job.
Okay. Nobody brave enough to share? Anybody brave enough to share? I don't want you to call names or call the name of your workplace or anything like that. Just what the situation was like and how you handled it. Anybody dare do that? No?
We have, Dr. Richards, we have two hands up. We have Sister Kathleen and then Elder Gail.
Okay. Sister Kathleen.
Good night, Dr. Richards, Prophetess Nicole, Minister, kidnapped citizen. When I was a child, my parents was not home. My mom went to work and they left us with our aunt and they supervised the supervisors and whatnot. And lo and behold, my father's friend stopped by and apparently he took me as my older sister. He took me for her. And he said, come and come, let's go and in the room and I'll show you what it is I have. And I was maybe about 7, between 5, 6, 7, somewhere around there. I was that age. And when I went into the room, something told me, and I'm not supposed to be in the room with him. And he did sexually assault me, but same time my aunt came because she realized something was not ticking home. So she came and I was so glad that she came and rescued me. But nothing did came out of it. I was afraid to tell my father, or because of what might have went on, or if I was only thinking my father might have killed this man and all kind of stuff. But I did tell my aunt about it.
And did your aunt do anything about it?
I think she told my mom, but I don't think they didn't want my father to know.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's a question I want to ask, but I'll wait until Elder Gail.
Good night, everyone. It's when you're a child, you don't know I suppose you don't know it's sexual assault or harassment. But you know, as Sister Kathleen was speaking, and I was just thinking, going back in my past, I had lots of those happening to me. But one that sticks out to me, I think I was around 10 years old. And my stepfather, he used to visit where I was living. And he had this old bike, this bicycle. And you know, a child, whenever you see a bicycle you want to ride, so he used to say, I could get to ride on your bike, I could get to ride on your bike. And most times he would say, he might let me allow me to ride, and he might say no. And this particular day, he said, meet me. We have, you know, the outhouse. We call it the latrine, of course, the outhouse. Meet him in the outhouse after he gave me 10 cents. And I remember getting the ride, but when he said meet him in the outhouse, something didn't strike too all right with that. And I was just 10, and I didn't go. But I remember speaking to my adopted mother at the time, and I told her about it. And because I was fearful, there was just a fear in me. And when she spoke with him, he said he was trying to teach me, you know, a lesson, so that I will know that if anybody does that in the future, that I won't accept. But that was, at the time, you're young and you don't know differently, but now I know he was lying. He was just covering his tracks. And that's one. And the next one, my sorry, my adopted mother, she used to wash and iron for people, right? And there's this particular taxi driver. I was about 12 at the time. I think it was a little older than that other situation. And he would come to collect his clothes, because she'd wash it and iron for him. And again, you know, little children, when he comes, he'd go like, we can give it 25 cents. And I didn't know it. Yeah, I was getting for them 10 to 25 cents. And every time you ask him, he wants to touch your breast. You know, he always wants to touch your boobs. And it just shows how lecherous these men are. And so many children fall for that. You know, my experiences I had like that. But I just mentioned those two. You know, but you're young and you don't know otherwise. You know, you just don't know. And men are big men, and it's always the big men who do these things, to little children. Because you're innocent and you don't know otherwise, you know. And I could give more, yes, but I'll leave it there.
Let me ask this question, and maybe as the only platform I could ask you that. In fact, I'm asking it for everybody, but I don't know if you want to give an answer. Why is it so difficult for parents, mothers especially, to accept that their children, their daughters in particular, have been violated? Why is it we have heard of so many cases where children would say to their mother, this one interfered with me, that one touched me, and the mother would say that you're lying, I don't believe you? Why is that so prevalent? I don't know if you can hazard a guess, you know, anyone. Because we've seen that over and over. We see it even in the movies, and some of these shows are based on real life things that have happened. Why is it that a child is deemed to be lying or not telling the truth or confused when they say, this person touched me, this person interfered with me? Why is that? Could somebody help me? Lagail, can you?
Yeah, we have Dr. Richard, we have Lady Cynthia's hand is up.
Lady Cynthia.
Oh, sorry. Okay, no problem. I thought I was unmuted. I didn't realize. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. So my situation is a bit different. Well, most of you may know I am single, widow. And there's a gentleman, he's a bit older than me, and every time he comes, well, they call me Monica, that up here, or Pie Lady. I don't want much, you know. These are the things that he said. I don't want much, you know. All I want to hug up and kiss up. I said, listen, leave me alone. I'm not interested. I talked to my son. Spoke to his son. I spoke to my daughter, and this man, not for their life, would leave me alone. I said, I'll call the police. I said, listen, I will bring you up, you know. Well, not bringing up means I'm not for the up to yesterday. I'm going to sell the pies because this sweet pie lady has just given the look. I don't know I don't know if that was sexual. This man wouldn't leave me alone. I don't know what, maybe you can give me some advice, if it's possible. Please and thanks.
Are you looking for advice from us?
Well, I don't know what to do. Again, I've threatened him.
So it's something
Literally.
that is happening. It's something that still
Yes,
happens.
up to yesterday, the man won't leave me alone. I said, listen to me. I've heard on the radio in Trinbago is 18 women to 1, and that don't include the Venezuelans. You could get somebody there. I tell him about that. I don't know what to do. Maybe I have to take him to court. Because no, I'm laughing now, but he annoys me. Literally.
Yeah. And let me just tell you, exposure is what sometimes has to happen in cases like this. All right. You see, people do that because they figure you're not saying anything to anybody. Nobody knows. All right. But you need to expose it. You need to tell somebody. You need to tell some people, have people talk to him, let them know that they know that you have spoken to them. All right. And if it continues, you can also tell the police. You can also report it. All right.
I told one of my sons, I told my police daughter, I told his son, I probably have to tell Marlon to take it a bit further because he wouldn't stop.
Yeah. Well, you have to do something that would make him stop. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And exposure. People like that don't like to know that you're talking to other people, that you're sharing what they said to other people. And what you can possibly do, if it is, don't put yourself in harm's way, record it. Record what he says to you. You can do that. That is part of the exposure. So, but you need to get people on your side. You need to get people who know and would support you and back you, and let him know that these people know. Let them talk with him. Let them do whatever has to be done so that he would know that he has been exposed. Okay. Yes. Shall we continue? Anybody?
We have 3 other hands up. Elder Sherry, Sister Susan, and then Sister Carlene.
Okay, go ahead. I have to go a little over. No problem. Go ahead.
Everyone, I'm a bit hoarse, so I hope you all are hearing me. So like Elder Gail, I have several of those stories, several. But I want to say, and I was always a very sassy child in terms of, I will tell you as it is, So for me, the violation would not have come, but I would have been, exposed to private parts and all these things because people think they can, some of the things I told other people other than my mother, because my mother used to beat. So, sometimes you think, as a child, you'll think you do something wrong, So you have to speak. And some of it I would have, as I grew older, I would have spoken about it. And some of it I dealt with it. I put them in their place and things. But to answer your question, my understanding, because of some of the people I've had interaction with, I think a lot of times, particularly mothers, they're single mothers. And sometimes these are some of the people that are helping them, and they feel, I know of a situation where a mother told the child that you trying to take my bread and butter away from me. All right. And then there are the cases of that whole thing of being put to shame. So you don't want that to be named among you. So as a result of that, you deny what the child is saying. And it's not that they don't believe, I don't think it's that they don't believe. I think they just don't want to deal with it. And if they just leave it alone, it will disappear, and the poor child is left to suffer, unless they have somebody that is trustworthy that they can speak to who will take it up. But most of the times they don't want to deal with any kind of shame coming their way. Yeah.
And thank you. I know that's double suffering because one, you're suffering at the hands of the person, and then the person you expect to support you and protect you and to encourage you, that you take your issue to, you're not getting that support. In fact, you're being made to feel that you're not the victim. You are trying to cause problems and that kind of thing. So children grow up with this kind of thing over their heads, and it causes problems later on in life. It causes serious problems in relationships that they have down the road, in marriages, and all these things because they didn't get the kind of help and support that they should have gotten at that time. The next person, sorry, go ahead.
Hi, good night. I was going to say what Gail just said, Sherry just said there. Some of the mothers are single mothers, and they would tell the children, they want to, jeopardize their income. But then again, it had to have, like, you could go to a teacher. It has sometimes it have concerned teacher that see that the child that not functioning in school, and if you could talk to the teacher, you're talking to your mother and she is trying to tell you that you jeopardizing her income. If you could talk to the teacher, if you have interested teachers that could, help the child sometimes. Right? So, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I thank you so much. You see, the thing is, sometimes talking to the teacher, the parents still have to get involved. They still have to involve the mother. And that is where the problem comes in sometimes. We have the Child Protection Agency, I think, and they are supposed to deal with situations like that as well. I don't know how well they're doing in terms of giving people that confidence to report these things. I don't know. Maybe I should get some more information on that before I continue. But too many children are suffering because of that. And too many females are suffering. Anyway, we do have somebody else, I think, do we?
Yes.
So,
Good night. Yes. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. Good night, family.
Hi,
Elder Sherry said some of the points I was going to make, but I'll just add to that outside of the shame and the fear. I also believe there are some instances, though, where adults or parents, in this case, in this scenario that you posed, Dr. Richards, don't believe the child because the child maybe is prone to telling lies in the past or is a troublemaker. And so anything the child says, even if it's the truth, they won't believe them because they have told lies in the past. So that's also a possibility. It could also be that, there's a threat to their own home, because we normally feel like our house, our household, our family is a safe space, somewhere we can go and we know that we'll be safe. And if a child comes and purports that someone is another family member within that household is harassing or has harassed them sexually, it might threaten that safety. And that's one of the basic needs that we have, shelter, clothing, safety. And so just mentally, the parent probably cannot accept that as true and fact, just because of what it's threatening on not only on a financial level, but also on a emotional, mental level, outside of the public shame and disgrace, going to court and people knowing your business, all of that. But another point too could be that the parent may have been sexually abused as well, and it was never dealt with, and so they don't want it's reminding them of something that had happened to them back then, and they don't want to deal with it, so they choose to believe that the child is lying.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it is so sad, It is so sad. And children suffer because of that. The parents suffered, and now they're suffering, and most likely, it is going to pass on to another generation. It is sad, and that is why I believe, I don't know how possible it is, but we need to get back to that place where the village is raising the child, so that it's not just you, a single parent raising a daughter, or raising girls, or even raising girls and boys. You have the support of the community, and that thing cannot happen in a community where there's community support. There is community support. That needs to happen. So we need to get back to that place, because you are thinking that it's you alone and what will happen if you expose this, and it's all you. But if you have the support of the other people in the community, then it's less likely that things that would happen. I see Sister Dolores with her hands up. I'll switch my screen so I'm seeing.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Pastor Noel. What? Sorry. Good night, Pastor Noel. Good night, Kingdom family. Good night. One of the things though that comes out of children, I believe, being molested or abused, and we're seeing quite a lot now, is that the girls behaving like boys. I mean, I have a family member, and I know that individual was abused, and she looks heavily like a boy. You know, so I believe that's how she's dealing with it. And to me, it is okay with the mom, like it's the mom. I don't know if her eyes is blind to it, or she just not taking it on because of the child situation. So sometimes these things, you see children behaving in a particular ways because of they were abused sometime and it wasn't dealt with.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And that is so true. Children find ways of dealing with that trauma, and some of them turn to, same-sex relationships and things like that because they don't want anything to do with males anymore. The girls don't want anything to do with males anymore, so they turn to a female. And the boys, if he's molested, you don't want anything to do with the woman anymore. And it's just so sad. It is so sad that we're barely scratching the surface. There's so much more to this than that, and we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful. And I come back to what I was saying just now again. If there's some way we can help all help raise our children together, and that's why we say in this ministry, even though Prophetess and I have these 3 boys, we are dependent on you too. If you can assist in any way, and when I say assist, if you see my boys somewhere where they're not supposed to be, or doing something where they're not supposed to, what they're not supposed to do, it is up to you. We expect that you would do something. The only thing I keep telling you, the only thing people are not allowed to do is to hit my children. But you can correct them, or pick up the phone and call me, call Prophetess or something. But don't just leave it. Don't do like in some ministries and have that pastor child, meaning have nothing to say. Not here. Not here. You are responsible for helping us raise our boys. All of you. And don't feel that we will, rebuke you for intervening. No. Even if you intervene and it might have been a mistake, maybe they got permission or whatever it is. But the point is, we expect that you would intervene. These are your children too, not just ours. These are your children. And this village is going to raise the children. This village, this LiveRight Ministry village, we're going to help raise one another's children. We've gone over the time. Thank you so much. We're going to continue again tomorrow, Gospel willing. Tomorrow is Thursday. Don't forget, as First Lady said, tomorrow is communion. It's really fellowship night too, so we really say what we're going to do. Fellowship night is a night where we lighten up a bit. But we'll see what's going to happen tomorrow. So God richly bless you. Thank you so much for participating. And let me just say one quick thing. I was going to say just now and it slipped my mind. Let me say it as I remember. I remember once I was at my workplace. It was many years ago. And we were doing for those of you who listen to the radio, we were doing the testimony segment. And one lady called in and she shared how she had been molested, as a child, and she was crying. And that opened the floodgates. Every person after that, and they were all female, talked about how they were molested, and it is still affecting them even as an adult. Some of them were married. I remember that, and I had it, I pulled in, because we record everything, and I remember going to our CEO, our then CEO, the founder, and I played it for her, and she was touched. I don't think she heard the program that day, but she couldn't believe what she was hearing. And I'm saying that to say there are a lot of adults now who were molested, abused when they were children, and they're living with it today. It is affecting them up even to today. I remember we talked, about why some women refuse to have sex with their husband. And one of the reasons is because of what sex means to them. It means that the molestation and forcing and rape and that kind of thing. So it's difficult for them to make that transition because they haven't dealt with it. So I want to say, in this ministry, if you have these type of challenges, please reach out. Please reach out. We believe in confidentiality. All right. Many of you know, we have counseled many of you, and you know that whatever you say remains within the confines of when we were doing the counseling. So please reach out. We want to be there for you. We want to be there for each other. We don't say, you don't think, and the devil is going to put that in your head. Listener, you see, you see how they will look at you now. That's what one of the things he says. And what they will think of you. It doesn't matter who it is. I don't care if it's one of the elders, one of the ministers, one of the family. Doesn't reach out. Please, we want to help you. You realize that this ministry is not just a ministry where we just pick up the Bible and go verse by verse and chapter by chapter and try to. No, this ministry is to teach you how to live this life. That's why God said to call it kingdom study, not just Bible study. And these are some of the things that happen. And we need to deal with it, of course, biblically, of course, with kingdom principles. But one of the things is that you see secrecy and keeping things inside, it will cause you to explode and to move from your generation to the next until we put a stop to it. Let me end by saying I found out some things just a couple of days ago about things that happened in my family. I'm not talking about this family here. My family of origin, my sisters and my brother, my parents. I found out some things that startled me. I didn't know. I really didn't know. I can't share it yet with you. Maybe one of these days I'll get the release to share it. But I didn't know all this was going on while I was young. I didn't know, right? And maybe I would have, been a part of some of those things and blocked it out. I don't know. I have to go back in my mind now and search myself to see if I saw or knew anything of what was happening. And so some of you may have to do that as well. But let's deal with it. Please, let's deal with it. Do not leave it like that. God bless you. I'm sorry for keeping you so long. I always believe time is a covenant and a contract. And I don't like to break contracts. So I apologize for going over tonight. But thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Minister Joshua, I'm sending it over, sending it back to you.
I know that we are looking at time, but I heard you saying something, and I just wanted to come in on what you said. Since, let me say this to you, Dr. Richards and I, we may not have been the ones to give birth to you. We may be from a different place than you came from. But I need you to understand that God has brought us together. And I can't say this enough. You are not just somebody or a number on this platform. And that's why we always say to you, we are a family. And we need you to understand that. So when you hurt, we will hurt with you. We will rally around you. We want you to know that you have somewhere called home. That safe space that no matter what happens, you can say, I'm going to run to my mommy and my daddy and my big sisters and my brother. You have us here. You have Dr. Richards. You don't have to do it alone. You have me, Dr. Richards, as your father. You have me as your mommy. You have Elder Sherry as your sister. Look at Elder Sheldon as your brother, Elder Sherry as your big sister, Elder Gail and Elder Ruth. We are here for you. This ministry is different. We are a family, and family is what God believes in. That's why he referred to himself as his father, our father. He said that we are sisters, brothers and sisters in the kingdom of God. And I need you to understand we are not just, this ministry is different because God wants you to know that his love is real. And we don't just say it, we show it. We are there for you. And there are some of you on this platform, you can identify with that. That's what we're here for. It's not your business to worry about how this is going to get done. Your business is to come to us and let us know. And we will be there for you. That's what we're saying. If you need prayer, you tell us. There's no shame. Where is that coming from? We're a family. Don't be embarrassed if something is happening to you. You got to tell us. That's what we're here for. And that's why we keep saying to you, had we not been calling your names on this platform, you would not have known anybody. And this is how the Holy Spirit have us to welcome you by calling your name. So that's how we know each other. So I just want to remind you that family is what God wants and what God honors. We, LiveRight Ministries, you who are here, we are a family. And we are here for you no matter what, no matter when, no matter where. And don't let anybody say anything different. You know the truth. And if you need help, Annie will make sure, and we'll join Annie and we will sue them. It's just a joke. But what I'm saying to you is we are here for you. We are